welcome to Don's Manufactory. Today, I am reworking my Monte Carlo bar. So, I cut the straight piece. I bought one of those $20 ones, $23 ones, whatever, off of CJ's, and I bolted it into my car the whole time I was doing my chassis stiffeners, just to help hold everything together. I'm going to leave it on there, but it gets in the way of my air cleaner air horn. And so I decided that what I needed to have was 45-degree angles here to move the bar a little far forward, 4 inches forward actually. So I went and I bought a new chunk of tubing, same thickness, 1 inch 095 wall. So I did my little mock-up here from bracket to bracket, 40 inches, and then I'm coming forward 4 and in 4 essentially, so I'm making myself a right triangle here. So it's 5 3/4 of an inch, then a 45-degree bend, then 32 inches over, another 45-degree bend, and 5 3/4 inches over to the brackets. And I left a little extra on there just because I put 7 inches on there, just because I didn't calculate for the I don't have no idea what the bend deduction is for the tubing. So I figured I'll just throw on some extra, and then that'll help me account for the 45-degree cut at the end and sort of getting it to fit tightly in between, so I can just fit it. Anyway, so that's what it does. It goes boing across and back. And that's what my Monte Carlo bar will look like. So, I'm about to pour sand into my tube and drag out the torch and bend it. Okay. Hey, maybe I could do that in time lapse, couldn't I? Sure, why not? Okay, here we go. So all of the metal fabricator guys are going, what the heck is he using there? Yeah, it's not really sand. It is a sort of sand, but it's got different grades of small gravel in there, and it's a little uneven, so it actually made some lumpy bends in my Monte Carlo bar. But hey, you use what you got. Okay, this first bend was easy. Just yanking it over there, and then I yanked it too far, of course. And there I am pounding out those lumps. Second bend, well, a little more challenging. As I do this, first I set it up perfectly, and normally what I do is get a stick, and I clamp it to the tube out there so that it touches the floor, and then when I pull it, I keep it level to the floor, and I'm not twisting or turning it or doing it, raising it up or down. Well, you can see that my right arm dropped, and yeah, it changed the angle by 1 degree. So now they're not even, and I have to reheat it and give it a little twist. A little more heat, yep. Give it a little twist, and guys have tables they do this on. They set the radius with the table and then the stops for the 45 degrees. But hey, you use what you got. And, all I had was the floor and my eyeballs. So I just sighted down there, and once it looked like the angles were lined up on each other, close enough. Okay, now I'm just fitting it, and I've got the belt sander over there, and I'm dressing the angles. It's a compound angle there at the brackets. The apron slants in, and the right apron has a little not slant, but a tilt towards the outside because of the battery box. So there was a lot of different angles that had to be just right, and I just eyeballed it until I got it there. At some point, I was getting close, and I wanted to get it to stay in place, but I'm setting it up with the same sort of load that the original one had, where it always pushed out against the aprons a little bit. And so I'm doing that same thing with this one. Unfortunately, every time I move it, it pops up out of there. So I finally came up with these little metal tabs that I would clamp to the apron top there, and it would hold the bar from popping up and out of there. Once I got that figured out, then I could start sizing it. I could leave the pressure on it. I could move it around and finally get it to where it was exactly parallel by tape measure to the core support. I figured, well, that's got to be square enough. Now I'm grinding the chamfer on the edge of the tube because I want to have room for the welds to go to make a nice strong weld. And then after I did that, of course, it wouldn't stay in place because there wasn't enough surface area for friction. So I had to come up with a little board there to kind of put it in place. Okay, tack welds. Get enough on there that you think it's going to stay, unbolt it, and then do the welding over there. I'm getting a little better at this. You know, the welds didn't look half bad. I don't know how these guys weld it with a perfect weld all the way around. How do you do that after you've already got a knobby little tack on there that you could barely get in the right position? And somehow you're supposed to weld along and just sort of incorporate that tack weld into the weld and make it look perfect. I don't know. Jeez. That's not me. At this point, though, it's fitting really good, and I can tell that it's pushing out against the struts the way it's supposed to, the aprons there. Now, I had it heated for quite a while, so I ended up with some oxide coating on the surface. It's kind of hard to get off of there. You have to really kind of sand at it. Welcome to Don's Manufactory. Today's update. Let me just flip you around here. I finished reworking the Monte Carlo bar. Wow. Did you hear the ring when I smacked that Monte Carlo bar? I guess I should have filled it with some ethafoam or something to deaden it. Painting my suspension parts, and I'll do it then. So I really like the way it looks. It out of the way, I can get the distributor cap off, do tune-ups without it being in the way. Really great. A productive day. Well, come on. Okay. So I'm just cleaning up here. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to be knocking off. And it really feels good to get that done. Now that the Monte Carlo bar is in, I can go ahead and do the geometry on the front suspension because all that is now fixed in place. Okay, so I'm taking it off here because I'm going to paint it. I'm painting all the front end stuff at the same time, but these are the clips of me working on the Monte Carlo bar. So just prepped it, sanded it with my little orbital sander, and tried to work all that oxide out of there. Treated it with OSPO and got it, I had to sand the paint burned on where I welded and everything. So it all had to be stripped off and redone. I don't know what kind of paint they used on it, but it's no tougher than the stuff I'm putting on. Okay, so cleaning her up here, and I'll be putting on some primer. Now, I know I normally catalyze these parts, use catalyzed paint so that it's a lot more durable. But it is freezing cold outside. It's either raining or snowing depending on the day. And I just didn't feel like pushing the car out and gearing up all the paint stuff. So, yep, I rattle canned it. It's easy to do at a later time if it doesn't work out. And in the meantime, hey, looks pretty good. There is my modified Monte Carlo bar. I decided it needed to be, well, obviously I wanted to clear the air cleaner because I didn't want to lose that. But I also want to be able to pull the distributor straight up out of the motor without it interfering on anything. So that I can work on the distributor. Actually, it's now not in the way of anything that I want to do to the car. So that was the whole point. And I thought about the bends and it not being as strong as a straight one, and that is, just laws of physics say that's true. However, they put a hoop-de-doo right in the middle of them and they use them that way, so I don't think this will be any less stiff than the ones that they sell. So, thanks for watching. Later.